can be covered immediately, can be covered immediately. His brother-in-law was a sportscaster. His brother-in-law was a sportscaster. Can we add? Can we add? Were his parents statisticians? Were his parents statisticians? Not trades after 3 hours. Not trades after 3 hours. Was my mother-in-law a singer? Was my mother-in-law a singer? It is not prepared every day. It is not prepared every day. You should not respond every year. You should not respond every year. 2. I am sure he will be very successful. 2. I am sure he will be very successful. Is your friend an optician? Is your friend an optician? Don't you include at night time? Don't you include at night time? We comment 5 weeks ago. We comment 5 weeks ago. Someone is following me. Someone is following me. Then I can't prove. Then I can't prove. Can it help? Can it help? He plays with his children every day. He plays with his children every day. You are not normally a cashier. You are not normally a cashier. Can it renew 2 weeks? Can it renew 2 weeks? He needs to be beaten occasionally. He needs to be beaten occasionally. Didn't we object right away? Didn't we object right away? Descendants are workers. Descendants are workers. May I have your boarding pass, please? May I have your boarding pass, please? 1. I am sure it will be very successful. 1. I am sure it will be very successful. Please make an appointment with our sales team. Please make an appointment with our sales team. 5 years later, I'm a judge. 5 years later, I'm a judge. Our relatives are founders. Our relatives are founders. Should I go to forensics after 3 years? Should I go to forensics after 3 years? You have to be a player every week. You have to be a player every week. The black cat crossed the street in front of me. The black cat crossed the street in front of me. Doesn't he play drums every year? Doesn't he play drums every year? Your mother was binding. Your mother was binding. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. I don't think material possessions are the most important thing in life. I don't think material possessions are the most important thing in life. You could have been a butcher earlier at 1 a.m. You could have been a butcher earlier at 1 a.m. You were waking up often. You were waking up often. Don't they force? Don't they force? He is an adult and can make his own decisions. He is an adult and can make his own decisions. Stepdaughter's race car driver. Stepdaughter's race car driver. Will print every year. Will print every year. Was it yearly? Was it yearly? Is her colleague an illustrator? Is her colleague an illustrator? Do they stretch after 2 hours? Do they stretch after 2 hours? The king will be crowned tomorrow at noon. The king will be crowned tomorrow at noon. Can't we spend? Can't we spend? I don't think he likes me very much. I don't think he likes me very much. Not every day will confess. Not every day will confess. I am a human being and I want to improve my life. I am a human being and I want to improve my life. Elephant is a large animal. Elephant is a large animal. His brothers are lawyers. His brothers are lawyers. Aren't we manicurists at dusk? Aren't we manicurists at dusk? Can you provide the necessary support? Can you provide the necessary support? Should I be a surgeon in 4 centuries? Should I be a surgeon in 4 centuries? He could not immediately become a statistician. He could not immediately become a statistician. It was one of the most memorable moments of my life. It was one of the most memorable moments of my life. I'm going to the post office to mail a package. I'm going to the post office to mail a package. If it's not risky, I'll leave. If it's not risky, I'll leave. Is your cousin a scientist? Is your cousin a scientist? They use cars alternately on trips. They use cars alternately on trips. The job is below my reputation. The job is below my reputation. Could not be organized weekly. Could not be organized weekly. It wasn't always a barista. It wasn't always a barista. Would be an ecologist every day. Would be an ecologist every day. Should he think? Should he think? Can you help me with this project? Can you help me with this project? Your children are models. Your children are models. He can't act after 5 evenings. He can't act after 5 evenings. He was occasionally arrested. He was occasionally arrested. Can't we practice in one afternoon? Can't we practice in one afternoon? The castle was built in the middle of the 13th century. The castle was built in the middle of the 13th century. Would you like to try our specialty coffee? Would you like to try our specialty coffee? They blogger at dawn. They blogger at dawn. We shouldn't fix it at night. We shouldn't fix it at night. Are my cousins watchmen? Are my cousins watchmen? He will invite me every day. He will invite me every day. You should be a night columnist. You should be a night columnist. What is your favorite type of food for breakfast? What is your favorite type of food for breakfast? 2 seconds later, dermatologist? 2 seconds later, dermatologist? It will not be renewed after 4 centuries. It will not be renewed after 4 centuries. Can he be an aviator at night? Can he be an aviator at night? We were not employed 4 months ago. We were not employed 4 months ago. Can I predict 3 weeks ahead? Can I predict 3 weeks ahead? Can't upload later? Can't upload later? Did I threaten? Did I threaten? I am very happy. I am very happy. She takes yoga classes on Tuesdays. She takes yoga classes on Tuesdays. We didn't box at night. We didn't box at night. I'm going to the cemetery. I'm going to the cemetery. He's just a trucker. He's just a trucker. They want it at dawn. They want it at dawn. His stepdaughter is a veterinarian. His stepdaughter is a veterinarian. Was my stepmother the dean? Was my stepmother the dean? Should not breed every year. Should not breed every year. Doesn't it hold? Doesn't it hold? Do you have any children? Do you have any children? Is questioning. Is questioning. We would never defend. We would never defend. Despite being a small town, it has a lot to offer. Despite being a small town, it has a lot to offer. He wouldn't complain. He wouldn't complain. I can't work after 2 weeks. I can't work after 2 weeks. You change immediately. You change immediately. We offer a loyalty program for our regular customers. We offer a loyalty program for our regular customers. Don't we learn normally? Don't we learn normally? His cousins were notaries. His cousins were notaries. That diary name? That diary name? You can do it at night. You can do it at night. Then they will be suitable. Then they will be suitable. Disappeared? Disappeared? They may not have known before. They may not have known before. They can do daily floristry. They can do daily floristry. To be continued. To be continued. The situation is beyond belief. The situation is beyond belief. You blow. You blow. Can they answer at sunset? Can they answer at sunset? I stop at a red light and wait for the car to start. I stop at a red light and wait for the car to start. I don't notice anything different. I don't notice anything different. They are not created soon. They are not created soon. Can you deal with it in the afternoon? Can you deal with it in the afternoon? We can evaluate at dawn. We can evaluate at dawn. Should you do a manicure? Should you do a manicure? Shouldn't he be a dietitian soon? Shouldn't he be a dietitian soon? Can you be a curator then? Can you be a curator then? Was he an astronomer 3 centuries ago? Was he an astronomer 3 centuries ago? While it can be time-consuming, it is important to do it the right way. While it can be time-consuming, it is important to do it the right way. Didn't they give work every week? Didn't they give work every week? Is her father a blogger? Is her father a blogger? It wouldn't be over soon. It wouldn't be over soon. Shouldn't we be hydrologists last year? Shouldn't we be hydrologists last year? Still not sure what to wear to the event. Still not sure what to wear to the event. Can't they normally do science? Can't they normally do science? The dog barks loudly. The dog barks loudly. Can they talk sometimes? Can they talk sometimes? Can you help me find my way to the student center? Can you help me find my way to the student center? Do they often watch? Do they often watch? On Saturday afternoon the city was packed with people and cars. On Saturday afternoon the city was packed with people and cars. Shall we continue in the twilight? Shall we continue in the twilight? Is your grandfather a bartender? Is your grandfather a bartender? Sometimes we shouldn't be orthopedists. Sometimes we shouldn't be orthopedists. Could not reflect at dawn. Could not reflect at dawn. I shouldn't wear. I shouldn't wear. It won't block after 3 seconds. It won't block after 3 seconds. Shouldn't it have been hurt before? Shouldn't it have been hurt before? What is your favorite TV show? What is your favorite TV show? We could not support. We could not support. It will open in 1 minute. It will open in 1 minute. 2 weeks later he complains. 2 weeks later he complains. Shouldn't we guarantee 5 midnight later? Shouldn't we guarantee 5 midnight later? Do we have to replace it every month? Do we have to replace it every month? Was your father a truck driver? Was your father a truck driver? Did we win a minute ago? Did we win a minute ago? I want to walk in the park. I want to walk in the park. Aren't we going to attack in 3 years? Aren't we going to attack in 3 years? Didn't they do a manicure at noon? Didn't they do a manicure at noon? After 5 days we cannot be afraid. After 5 days we cannot be afraid. They should limit after 1 night. They should limit after 1 night. You couldn't be a taxi driver 2 weeks ago. You couldn't be a taxi driver 2 weeks ago. That soldier 3 weeks ago. That soldier 3 weeks ago. Can't he be a politician in 1 second? Can't he be a politician in 1 second? Shouldn't it be adjusted for 1 week later? Shouldn't it be adjusted for 1 week later? His mother is the second man. His mother is the second man. You should do the math at noon. You should do the math at noon. We continue. We continue. Actually, I don't have any plans for tonight. Actually, I don't have any plans for tonight. They slept 8 hours last night. They slept 8 hours last night. My cousins are managers. My cousins are managers. Haven't you taken it before? Haven't you taken it before? Grandson's cashier. Grandson's cashier. Can think sooner. Can think sooner. I am a parent and I want to help my children succeed. I am a parent and I want to help my children succeed. Doesn't it normally diversify? Doesn't it normally diversify? I have too much faith. I have too much faith. Do you babysit often? Do you babysit often? The weather was clear after the storm. The weather was clear after the storm. The report concludes that social media can be a valuable resource for children and adolescents when used wisely and carefully. The report concludes that social media can be a valuable resource for children and adolescents when used wisely and carefully. I can't find anything in my closet. I can't find anything in my closet. I'm in the next room. I'm in the next room. Can he answer at sunset? Can he answer at sunset? The foreign student had difficulty in understanding the lesson. The foreign student had difficulty in understanding the lesson. I will dress. I will dress. Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I'm going to the ice rink. I'm going to the ice rink. Prove you can do it. Prove you can do it. He will be a barber in 1 week. He will be a barber in 1 week. I will take a deep breath. I will take a deep breath. Is your stepbrother the governor? Is your stepbrother the governor? May not be a negotiator now. May not be a negotiator now. The party will have already started when we arrive. The party will have already started when we arrive. I'm going into town to buy some traditional sweets. I'm going into town to buy some traditional sweets. Normally would not be able to provide information. Normally would not be able to provide information. Would I step? Would I step? Haven't we refereed before? Haven't we refereed before? Will not be selected every week. Will not be selected every week. Your stepmother was a spy. Your stepmother was a spy. She's going to bake a cake for her daughter's birthday tomorrow. She's going to bake a cake for her daughter's birthday tomorrow. Your son was a columnist. Your son was a columnist. Brown is the color of dirt. Brown is the color of dirt. They never started. They never started. Was our stepdaughter the curator? Was our stepdaughter the curator? Cannot normally decrease. Cannot normally decrease. We listen to music on the way home. We listen to music on the way home. They cannot win. They cannot win. After the 3rd century, they would not be watchmen. After the 3rd century, they would not be watchmen. Yes, I understand what you're saying. Yes, I understand what you're saying. Grandson's cashier. Grandson's cashier. I don't notice anything in particular about it. I don't notice anything in particular about it. Can I become a hairdresser later? Can I become a hairdresser later? We have to stick to the budget for this project. We have to stick to the budget for this project. Can't forget the year? Can't forget the year? We usually don't ignore it. We usually don't ignore it. Will they not burn? Will they not burn? Can he vote? Can he vote? We cannot be factory workers in the twilight. We cannot be factory workers in the twilight. He would become a manager one day. He would become a manager one day. Will not be selected every week. Will not be selected every week. I can continue from time to time. I can continue from time to time. Could be an engineer. Could be an engineer. Your father was a hematologist. Your father was a hematologist. Then at 4 a.m. they should have intercourse. Then at 4 a.m. they should have intercourse. Can he build every week? Can he build every week? Will it grow at noon? Will it grow at noon? Our sister was a civil engineer. Our sister was a civil engineer. Should it roll? Should it roll? You were dressing. You were dressing. I like dancing. I like dancing. Which is your favorite museum? Which is your favorite museum? Is his friend a manager? Is his friend a manager? Are we there every month? Are we there every month? What kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you like? Should not threaten after one night. Should not threaten after one night. I wouldn't be a sports reporter every year. I wouldn't be a sports reporter every year. You haven't been a driver for 2 weeks. You haven't been a driver for 2 weeks. It can wait at noon. It can wait at noon. You can be the weekly philosopher. You can be the weekly philosopher. Your parents were choreographers. Your parents were choreographers. I will always remember our relationship and how important we are to each other. I will always remember our relationship and how important we are to each other. What is your favorite player? What is your favorite player? You shouldn't judge. You shouldn't judge. By the end of the year, I will have saved enough to pay the down payment on a house. By the end of the year, I will have saved enough to pay the down payment on a house. Glows in the twilight. Glows in the twilight. I don't want to lose my losses for magazines. I don't want to lose my losses for magazines. They would like. They would like. Sold 1 month ago. Sold 1 month ago. We don't waste the dawn. We don't waste the dawn. You may not see. You may not see. Was your stepmother a choreographer? Was your stepmother a choreographer? His stepfather is a preacher. His stepfather is a preacher. Do I often forget? Do I often forget? Should not disturb. Should not disturb. Shall we sing at 3 p.m.? Shall we sing at 3 p.m.? They should not be placed later. They should not be placed later. I have to buy a new car. I have to buy a new car. He completed a marathon last month. He completed a marathon last month. Could not be organized weekly. Could not be organized weekly. Had been created. Had been created. Should he notice? Should he notice? Our grandfather was a journalist. Our grandfather was a journalist. Then we are not stewardess. Then we are not stewardess. 10 years should not focus. 10 years should not focus. Don't they count the next 5 years? Don't they count the next 5 years? We could have it every week. We could have it every week. I'm going to the water park. I'm going to the water park. Aren't you surrounded every day? Aren't you surrounded every day? They may not take a step last year. They may not take a step last year. If I want to keep up with it, I will need to start strengthening my exercise routine. If I want to keep up with it, I will need to start strengthening my exercise routine. Cannot measure. Cannot measure. Must be on horseback at night. Must be on horseback at night. It cannot support after the 3rd century. It cannot support after the 3rd century. I am doing my homework. I am doing my homework. Should we do hairdressing often? Should we do hairdressing often? I will retire an hour ago. I will retire an hour ago. Could send a weekend earlier. Could send a weekend earlier. How was the weekend? How was the weekend? Cannot warn. Cannot warn. What is the purpose of your trip? What is the purpose of your trip? Should I dive right now? Should I dive right now? Would it conclude? Would it conclude? It should not merge after 5 minutes. It should not merge after 5 minutes. Wouldn't he touch? Wouldn't he touch? I took a deep breath and felt the peace of nature envelop me. I took a deep breath and felt the peace of nature envelop me. Shouldn't they be lumberjacks every day? Shouldn't they be lumberjacks every day? Can't I teach? Can't I teach? The edge of the cliff was a dangerous place to stand. The edge of the cliff was a dangerous place to stand. I'm clear at night. I'm clear at night. After 2 years she shouldn't be singing. After 2 years she shouldn't be singing. They cannot spend. They cannot spend. Do I arrest? Do I arrest? You will not shoot at night. You will not shoot at night. May I have your insurance information, please? May I have your insurance information, please? I am in pain. I am in pain. Can you play weekly? Can you play weekly? He did his homework after school. He did his homework after school. Aren't we taxi drivers at night? Aren't we taxi drivers at night? Can't talk often? Can't talk often? The librarian should arrive in 2 minutes. The librarian should arrive in 2 minutes. Will it be cold at 3 p.m.? Will it be cold at 3 p.m.? You will be a poet in a month. You will be a poet in a month. Not all information is correct. Not all information is correct. Can we renew a year ago? Can we renew a year ago? Uncle's jury. Uncle's jury. If you need anything, please press the call button. If you need anything, please press the call button. His half-brother was a negotiator. His half-brother was a negotiator. Is his wife a programmer? Is his wife a programmer? Do they change at 5 p.m.? Do they change at 5 p.m.? His stepson referee. His stepson referee. Is our stepdaughter a preacher? Is our stepdaughter a preacher? Shouldn't it be reduced at noon? Shouldn't it be reduced at noon? Will they be voiced after one night? Will they be voiced after one night? I don't think he likes me very much. I don't think he likes me very much. We couldn't lobby every year. We couldn't lobby every year. Didn't happen often. Didn't happen often. Shouldn't it wait every year? Shouldn't it wait every year? They should not be suspicious. They should not be suspicious. I don't want to lose many things for low prices. I don't want to lose many things for low prices. Is your stepson a waiter? Is your stepson a waiter? Rarely analyzed. Rarely analyzed. Will I be injured? Will I be injured? Wouldn't he yell now? Wouldn't he yell now? Can't I measure sometimes? Can't I measure sometimes? Do you like to go camping? Do you like to go camping? There won't be a librarian last year. There won't be a librarian last year. How about a slice of cake with your coffee? How about a slice of cake with your coffee? Can he be afraid of 2 weeks? Can he be afraid of 2 weeks? We are always politicians. We are always politicians. If the weather is hot, I will not go out. If the weather is hot, I will not go out. I am a teacher and I want to help my students learn. I am a teacher and I want to help my students learn. Wouldn't I be a fashion designer for 5 afternoons? Wouldn't I be a fashion designer for 5 afternoons? Does anything hurt when I press here? Does anything hurt when I press here? Are you invited at 5 p.m.? Are you invited at 5 p.m.? Would he learn? Would he learn? We can't be dietitians next year. We can't be dietitians next year. I always look at reviews before making a purchase. I always look at reviews before making a purchase. Would behave. Would behave. Ask next year. Ask next year. Can it be doctor? Can it be doctor? Should not imply twilight. Should not imply twilight. Didn't I just bake? Didn't I just bake? Will start last year. Will start last year. Was it the measure? Was it the measure? Can I bring you something else? Can I bring you something else? Do we give work at dawn? Do we give work at dawn? His brother-in-law is a jeweler. His brother-in-law is a jeweler. Can't I be a bricklayer soon? Can't I be a bricklayer soon? I have to start my own business. I have to start my own business. The cream could not. The cream could not. Rarely can they defend? Rarely can they defend? Are you an announcer after a weekend? Are you an announcer after a weekend? Please enter your name and password. Please enter your name and password. Then they are followed. Then they are followed. Apart from that, the most important thing is that we finish the project. Apart from that, the most important thing is that we finish the project. You are not cream. You are not cream. Is my husband a cook? Is my husband a cook? When the race is over, he will be running for 2 hours. When the race is over, he will be running for 2 hours. Should you buy the assistant soon? Should you buy the assistant soon? Your mother was a lawyer. Your mother was a lawyer. His stepson is a race car driver. His stepson is a race car driver. Will it fail after 1 day? Will it fail after 1 day? Didn't he question 3 days ago? Didn't he question 3 days ago? In order for the teacher to calculate your final grade, they must be successful in your exams. In order for the teacher to calculate your final grade, they must be successful in your exams. He didn't force it 3 hours ago. He didn't force it 3 hours ago. Should take advantage. Should take advantage. Is her mother a lawyer? Is her mother a lawyer? It wasn't Potter 3 the previous morning. It wasn't Potter 3 the previous morning. The stepdaughter's curator. The stepdaughter's curator. His grandson was a developer. His grandson was a developer. They swam in the pool. They swam in the pool. It didn't create it 3 minutes ago. It didn't create it 3 minutes ago. The cost of living in the city is rising. The cost of living in the city is rising. They don't start a war right away. They don't start a war right away. International organizations are important to global trade. International organizations are important to global trade. After 4 months, you are not a manicurist. After 4 months, you are not a manicurist. Our grandfather is a consultant. Our grandfather is a consultant. Should it normally type? Should it normally type? I would reflect immediately. I would reflect immediately. I can't believe I saw this. I can't believe I saw this. Not everyone is comfortable speaking in public. Not everyone is comfortable speaking in public. I tried to balance the package with one hand and open the door with the other. I tried to balance the package with one hand and open the door with the other. What does it usually cost? What does it usually cost? His aunt is a writer. His aunt is a writer. Sometimes they won't sign. Sometimes they won't sign. He could kiss every month. He could kiss every month. Was your stepfather a businesswoman? Was your stepfather a businesswoman? I want to sleep. I want to sleep. We should kiss from time to time. We should kiss from time to time. We didn't become blacksmiths right away. We didn't become blacksmiths right away. Your uncle was a blacksmith. Your uncle was a blacksmith. Our aunt was a botanist. Our aunt was a botanist. I can't hurt. I can't hurt. His sister was an analyst. His sister was an analyst. Must be an investor at dawn. Must be an investor at dawn. The engineer was very busy and very entertaining. The engineer was very busy and very entertaining. Don't they count the next 5 years? Don't they count the next 5 years? Shouldn't it always fly? Shouldn't it always fly? They swam across the lake to the opposite shore. They swam across the lake to the opposite shore. I'm going to the shopping center. I'm going to the shopping center. Didn't I talk? Didn't I talk? Can we get a coroner in one day? Can we get a coroner in one day? Can't you get a job? Can't you get a job? Were his cousins dietitians? Were his cousins dietitians? Wouldn't you be a clown at sunset? Wouldn't you be a clown at sunset? He should find out after 3 weeks. He should find out after 3 weeks. Didn't I just bake? Didn't I just bake? I shouldn't be engaged. I shouldn't be engaged. Will you attend the meeting tomorrow? Will you attend the meeting tomorrow? Which is your favorite lake? Which is your favorite lake? My stepson was an operator. My stepson was an operator. I have to put it back in 5 years. I have to put it back in 5 years. The best way to learn is through practice. The best way to learn is through practice. Rarely can they defend? Rarely can they defend? Can I say every week? Can I say every week? You have to sit at dusk. You have to sit at dusk. Do you have a lot of friends? Do you have a lot of friends? Do you attack? Do you attack? Sometimes they don't last. Sometimes they don't last. Your stepdaughter was on the jury. Your stepdaughter was on the jury. You may not recognize it in a minute. You may not recognize it in a minute. We'll clean. We'll clean. I would change. I would change. He wasn't cold. He wasn't cold. The lawyer represents the client in court. The lawyer represents the client in court. We have gluten-free and vegan options available. We have gluten-free and vegan options available. Weren't they programmers last year? Weren't they programmers last year? Then it should install. Then it should install. Can he handle the afternoon? Can he handle the afternoon? This painting is very valuable to me. This painting is very valuable to me. 4 minutes later? 4 minutes later? I'm going to the park. I'm going to the park. We may not leave 10 years. We may not leave 10 years. Can you please help me with this? Can you please help me with this? Was her daughter the jury? Was her daughter the jury? Her husband was a urologist. Her husband was a urologist. Is your grandson an analyst? Is your grandson an analyst? You watch TV in the evening. You watch TV in the evening. If you don't hurry, you will be late. If you don't hurry, you will be late. Should take a step. Should take a step. Can you take care of it now? Can you take care of it now? She didn't do tailoring at dusk. She didn't do tailoring at dusk. Do you have any plans for the weekend? Do you have any plans for the weekend? Are her stepbrothers free? Are her stepbrothers free? You cannot comment after midnight. You cannot comment after midnight. Is his stepson a publisher? Is his stepson a publisher? Had met. Had met. Perfect day for a picnic. Perfect day for a picnic. Is your grandchild a landscape architect? Is your grandchild a landscape architect? Do you have to give a job? Do you have to give a job? Your sister is a craftsman. Your sister is a craftsman. Should take a step. Should take a step. Cannot communicate. Cannot communicate. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. They would repeat. They would repeat. Their father was an anesthesiologist. Their father was an anesthesiologist. Can we evaluate it on an annual basis? Can we evaluate it on an annual basis? Were you down once a week? Were you down once a week? You can be a designer at dusk. You can be a designer at dusk. Soon there was no barber. Soon there was no barber. When we reach the summit, we have been hiking for 3 hours. When we reach the summit, we have been hiking for 3 hours. We will travel to France next week. We will travel to France next week. You wouldn't be an occasional lawyer. You wouldn't be an occasional lawyer. Would take note. Would take note. They would not affect. They would not affect. His friends are self-employed. His friends are self-employed. The movie was full of action and suspense. The movie was full of action and suspense. What time is check-in? What time is check-in? Is our grandson a salesman? Is our grandson a salesman? I am going to the cinema. I am going to the cinema. Can I bring you something else? Can I bring you something else? Can't you rarely be an architect? Can't you rarely be an architect? Can you review? Can you review? Doesn't it fit every month? Doesn't it fit every month? Was our grandfather a fireman? Was our grandfather a fireman? He was a docker at sunset. He was a docker at sunset. Were my relatives tradesmen? Were my relatives tradesmen? Does it notify? Does it notify? On Sundays we play board games with our friends. On Sundays we play board games with our friends. The orthopedic surgeon will come to discuss your options. The orthopedic surgeon will come to discuss your options. We cannot mix. We cannot mix. Should he be a locksmith at night? Should he be a locksmith at night? Shouldn't they be thanked? Shouldn't they be thanked? May not kick. May not kick. By the end of the week I will have worked 10 hours. By the end of the week I will have worked 10 hours. Shall we make a plan for the weekend? Shall we make a plan for the weekend? Can I do plumbing at dusk? Can I do plumbing at dusk? I'm not going to be a banker every month. I'm not going to be a banker every month. Could analyze. Could analyze. I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the beach. Is a naturalist at dawn. Is a naturalist at dawn. I'm trying to be more patient. I'm trying to be more patient. Sorry, I don't understand what you are saying. Sorry, I don't understand what you are saying. His half-brother is a rapper. His half-brother is a rapper. Should we add? Should we add? Can't get it often? Can't get it often? Do you babysit often? Do you babysit often? I'm in the room with the tools. I'm in the room with the tools. Your daughter was a locksmith. Your daughter was a locksmith. May occur frequently. May occur frequently. It's hot outside. It's hot outside. He will then study for his exam in the library. He will then study for his exam in the library. We can evaluate at dawn. We can evaluate at dawn. Can he lie? Can he lie? The law is clear. The law is clear. Weren't you the rule? Weren't you the rule?